Quilty is brought to you by
Baby Lock. Baby Lock sewing and long arm machines. From piecing to long arming for the love of sewing. Aurifil. Aurifil Italian thread. Perfectly suited for all your quilting projects. Dear Stella. A unique fabric brand with modern style. Fairfield. Together, we can make beautiful things. Hovels Sewing. Cut to the point with Hovels Sewing. Moda. Make something quilty with Moda fabrics. Northcott. Cottons that feel like silk. Omnigrid. Providing quilters with specialty rulers and accessories for over 30 years. Hello, welcome back to Quilty. I'm Mary Fons, and on Quilty, on the show and in the magazine, we do kind of an unofficial series of quilts called Easiest Quilts Ever. And these are quilts that are just so basic that really they're great for the beginner. They really are made for you. And so there's a very old pattern, a very old kind of quilt called a coin quilt. Sometimes you'll see it called the Chinese coin quilt. And there's so many different versions of these, and they're all really lovely and beautiful. They're great scrap busters, and today, in the modern age, they're great for jelly rolls. And so look in Quilty magazine for the Easiest Quilt Ever coin quilt. We have a version of a coin quilt here. This may be the one that appears in the magazine. It may be a different one. You know, these things sometimes get juggled around. But we're going to talk about coin quilts today, and I'm going to show you a little bit about them. So this is a lovely quilt top made by my friend Heather Kenyon. And she said from start to finish, this took her about 3 hours and 45 minutes from jelly roll to quilt top. Okay, we talked about doing a baby quilt. She just kept going because it was so easy. So coin quilts are, and I'm going to show this one more time just to analyze it. It's rows of coins, rows of little different fabrics scattered together, sewn in rows with these borders in between, almost like sashing, you could say, in between. So you can have big coins, you can have little coins, but it's always kind of this same idea. So let's take a look at how to do this. And I've made a coin quilt before, and yeah, you can make little coins, like I said, or big coins. And I usually go a little bit smaller than this, but it's really, really the same thing. So this is a jelly roll strip. Cutting them in half, you've got to, the width of fabric here is it's best. You'll get more variety if you cut your jelly roll strips in half, because then you can scatter them more. You could sew really, really long strip sets, but that's kind of harder. The longer your seam is, the more apt you are to veer off into crazy territory. So if you cut these in half, I'm going to pull these in here. You have a little bit less to work with, and you're going to sew one strip to another. This is one line, like I said, from a jelly roll, so you don't have crazy different contrast when it's from the same fabric line. You have contrast, but less than if you're pulling solids, out of your stash. But there's still sort of a method to the madness. Try to go, orange, in this case, orange, blue, yellow, blue, orange, blue. Try to get darker ones next to lighter ones so you can see your coins. You want to be able to see them. So you sew a strip set together. I did press toward the darker. Okay, so you do that, and then you kind of keep going. You keep going with your strip sets, and I would work in groups of 4. Now, I'm going to press this because I want you to see when you're pressing a long seam, you need to be careful. So let's do that. I'm going to move this over here, and I'm going to come over and set the seam. That's always the first thing we do. And I'll press it toward, let's see what we've got. I think I'll press it toward the orange. I think I will do that. So, open it up this way, and I'll press it this way. Now, what I would do is, with my iron, I would take this, once I've set it, and just give it kind of a cursory beginning scooch. I'm scooching it. And then, by looking at the bottom and being very mindful, I'm going to open the seam like this, okay? And I'm not smushing, I'm lightly rubbing a little bit. Because the thing is, when you have long strips like this, it's very easy to, get the fabric a little bit out of whack, because it's so long to open it up. And you can get lazy too, so don't do that. So up and down, really set your seam. Okay, and then you subcut your strip set. So you bring it back over. I believe these chunks are about 8.5. I'm going to, I lay my ruler down and I overcut just a smidge. Working with jelly rolls is pretty great. You know you have very straight edges on the jelly rolls, so you're gonna be pretty accurate unless you really get nuts. So we'll be doing 8.5 on this particular quilt. Go to heyquilty.com, by the way, for all your pattern and magazine needs. So this is garbage, and I've got this nice chunk, and I would work in groups of 4 on something like this. You don't have to do it that way, but I think I would. And then I've got some more coins done here. This is what I mean by contrast. This is an orange to an orange. Better, I'd say, to do something like that. Okay? And then I would do the one long coin row and then the other long coin row. Again, I'm going to flip this one, just kind of getting variety in there. And you do your coin rows like that. And then add your sashing. Again, being very careful when you sew those long seams. Check your sewing. Make sure you're doing a 1/4 inch seam. You're not going too narrow or too wide. And I think it was 2.5 yards used in this quilt to get those borders. And that's a coin quilt. And it's very simple and it's very fun. And you can do that once you have a 1/4 inch seam down and you know how to cut properly. This is a quilt a beginner can absolutely tackle. I almost said tangle. You can tangle with this quilt. And you can tackle it. You can tango with it. You can do all kinds of tea things. Thanks for watching Quilty, and join us in the magazine on the show. We are here for you, beginner quilter. Bye.
Quilty is brought to you by
Baby Lock. Baby Lock sewing and long arm machines. From piecing to long arming for the love of sewing. Aurifil. Aurifil Italian thread. Perfectly suited for all your quilting projects. Dear Stella. A unique fabric brand with modern style. Fairfield. Together, we can make beautiful things. Hovels Sewing. Cut to the point with Hovels Sewing. Moda. Make something quilty with Moda fabrics. Northcott. Cottons that feel like silk. Omnigrid. Providing quilters with specialty rulers and accessories for over 30 years.